and how Point Park is honoring student and staff veterans at a pinning ceremony. And one organization on campus is fundraising money for the Early Learning Institute. And this weekend weather, whether you can expect icy conditions. All this and more after the break.
Live from the Point Park University Broadcast Center in downtown Pittsburgh, this is Point News.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Point News. I'm Kimberly Keggy. The weekend weather is fastly approaching, and you can expect Friday to be a high of 44 and will move to a low of 27 with a small 10% chance of rain. Saturday is partly cloudy, but you should see more sun with a high of 41 and a low of 25. And on Sunday, 48 degrees and a 32 low. Meanwhile, Facebook is becoming a popular way to spread the word about winter weather to Point Park students. Kiara Fry has a story.
Snow is in the air and the temperatures are dropping as winter approaches here in downtown Pittsburgh.
The winter weather conditions present some challenges for Point Park University's commuter students.
The biggest issue is buses always running late. You never know if they're going to be on time, if they're going to be 10 minutes to an hour late.
Port Authority delays and more dangerous driving conditions in the winter result in a change of routine for many commuter students.
Usually I'm up an hour or so before my bus would come here. When the weather starts to get bad, it's when I decide whether or not I should come to school or not, just for the safety of the commute. If I do choose to come, I'm usually up at least an hour or two more earlier to try to catch an earlier bus to be here on time.
According to the university's 2018-2019 fact book, just over 3,000 of the university's 4,100 undergraduate and graduate students are commuters.
The university's Office of Student Life does try to support commuter students by using a Facebook group called Point Park University Commuter Resources. The Office of Student Life says the Facebook page is active year-round, but focuses more on weather and possible delays and closings during the winter months.
Where they try to keep us updated about Port Authority runs and also other alternatives if schools are going to be canceled or not.
Students can request to join the Point Park University Commuter Resources Facebook group to stay informed and up to date with information regarding travel to the university. Reporting from Point Park University in downtown Pittsburgh, I'm Kiara Fry for Point News.
And at least 6 people were wounded and 1 in critical condition in a shooting at Saugus High School in California when a gunman opened fire. On the Santa Clara campus early Thursday, authorities said the shooting was reported at campus about 7:40 a.m. and all schools in the William S. Hart district were locked down as authorities searched for the shooter. The suspect is described as a 15-year-old boy wearing a black hat and black clothing, the sheriff's department said. And on Tuesday morning, Mayor Bill Peduto submitted the operating and capital budget to Pittsburgh City Schools for 2020. According to a press release from the city of Pittsburgh, the budget contains no tax increases and highlights include the $69 million budget, and they'll be opening 3 substations in downtown. Homewood and the South Side and $5.9 million for a vehicle acquisition plan, which involves the purchasing of 32 hybrid police vehicles. The budget can be read on the City of Pittsburgh's website. And meanwhile, during Tuesday's budget announcement, Mayor Bill Peduto had some tough words for Pittsburgh Public Schools, asking why the district can't get its financial crisis in stance. He called for the state oversight of the district, something similar to Act 47 financial recovery. While the mayor's proposed 2020 budget had no proposed tax increase, the district's proposed spending plan for the new year included an increase of 2.4%. And during that same news conference, Pittsburgh Mayor Bill Peduto talked about a proposal for a new Pittsburgh police station, Police Zone 7 Police Station. The station would cover the North Shore Stadium area, downtown Pittsburgh, the South Side, and the Strip District. Those are areas currently covered by Zone 1 or Zone 2. Mayor Padillo says that he believes the city will have enough officers to have the new station by the end of the next year. He also says new police substations will open downtown on Liberty Avenue in Homewood and on the south side. And a Pittsburgh police officer is recovering after being injured in a wrong-way crash on Sunday night. The crash happened Sunday night on Jacksonian Crash. Police Nicholas Nagowski was driving an SUV the wrong way down the one-way street and crashed head-on into a police vehicle. Nagowski was not injured and was arrested on a DUI and related charges. The officer suffered minor incidents. And according to the city's website on Monday, November 11th, the Department of Mobility and Infrastructure announced the installation of 4 speed humps in 4 Pittsburgh neighborhoods. As part of the neighborhood traffic calming program, the speed humps will be installed in the Hill District, Squirrel Hill South, Highland Park, and Carrick, due to the 2018 speed and volume data collected throughout the city. Permanent signs and pavement markings will be installed ahead of the humps to alert motorists. Work for this project was expected to begin on the 11th and should last 1 to 2 days at each location. And Point Park honors staff, faculty, and student veterans every year on Veterans Day, and this centennial celebration was no different. Lindsay Carson has the story.
Today is the 100th anniversary of Veterans Day, and Point Park University is holding a celebration in Lawrence Hall to honor those who have served. Point Park University sent out an email to all of their students letting them know on Monday, November 11th, 2019, they'll be celebrating the 100th anniversary of the first Armistice Day, otherwise known as Veterans Day.
Well, each and every year, we would like to take this time on November 11th, again, the 11th day, the 11th hour, the 11th day of the 11th month, to honor all the veterans that are associated with Point Park University, both faculty, staff, and especially our students.
According to the PittsburghFoundation.org, this area has around 185,000 veterans, and Pennsylvania has the 4th largest veteran population, right behind California, Texas, and Florida. According to Point Park's records, around 150 students currently enrolled at the university are veterans.
Yes, they made it really easy to enroll and get accepted in here. I applied for a bunch of different other schools, but they're the only ones that really came around and sent me a package saying, hey, come here, we'll help you out.
Point Park made sure to honor their veterans by having alumni who are veterans speak at this event, and they also had a pinning ceremony for all the veterans who attended this event. Point Park plans on continuing to hold this event for years to come. For Point News, I'm Lindsay Carson.
And Point Park isn't the only ones who joined in the centennial celebration of Veterans Day. The city of Pittsburgh hosted their annual Veterans Day Parade. Our reporter Lindsay Carson has a story.
Saturday before Veterans Day, the city of Pittsburgh hosts its 100th annual Veterans Day Parade. A press release from the Federation of War Veterans mentions that Pittsburgh was one of the first cities in America to celebrate Veterans Day. The 100-year celebration makes it the 2nd oldest parade in the country. All branches of the United States military, including World War II veterans, will be featured in the parade today. The parade had some special guests like Mayor Bill Peduto and his staff, alongside the many veterans and marching bands featured in the parade. The United States Census says that there are roughly 79,000 veterans living in Allegheny County. That makes veterans about 6.5% of Allegheny County's total population, one of Pennsylvania's most veteran-populated counties. Many parade attendees have family connections to veterans and ties to many of America's wars, like Bob, whose family dates back to the Pearl Harbor attack.
My cousin was at Pearl Harbor when it got attacked. In fact, I have his Navy hat at home. He gave it to me, and he come out of it okay. He wasn't hurt, and in fact, he was on the fire brigade helping to suppress all the damage. Like many veterans, Bob's family all lived in Pittsburgh for generations. Like I say, a pretty well military background, and that's what I say out of respect. And you know, I know my dad and my relatives are all around here and that, so I hope they're happy with what I'm doing. I know my dad is. So. The City of Pittsburgh and Veteran Services Affairs will annually continue to fund and hold the longest standing Veterans Day in America. For Point News, I'm Nardos Haile.
And coming up, Point Park's annual 39th Rockathon is coming with a new twist. We'll show you that after the break.
All right, go.
Go to our new website, uview.pointpark.edu.
Go, 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 go.
Join UView and find your herd.
Join EOP. And 3, 2, 1. Join EOP.
I was just saying, grab them now, or else I will snap them.
Yeah.
Join on point with politics.
3, 2, 1.
Join Pioneer Sideline.
Loneliest number that you'll ever do.
And WPPJ is hosting their 39th annual Rockathon. Our reporter Nick Tomarello has the story.
WPPJ is hosting their 39th annual Rockathon, broadcasting live for 3 days straight, all to raise money for the Early Learning Institute. The station has gone mobile, moving from their Conestoga studios back to the second floor of Lawrence Hall.
We raise money for an organization called TELLIES, the Early Learning Institute of Pittsburgh, and they help with kids that have special needs as far as educational and developmental learning.
The Early Learning Institute started receiving donations from the very first Rockathon in 1981. Steve Feckety hosted the entire event by himself and is pleased to see support and dedication.
The staff is still as diligent and is still as energetic, but the fact that PJ can be heard throughout the country, all of these alumni can hear the Rockathon. The Rockathon means a lot, especially to that original staff. It means so much to be able to tune in and hear what's going on.
People can make cash donations, purchase Rockathon t-shirts, enter in basket drawings, or buy a grab bag with a random selection of music CDs. All of the proceeds from the music grab bags and any other WPPJ merchandise will all go towards the Early Learning Institute.
It's the kids that are helped by this ultimately. The money that gets raised during the Rockathon is really more practical day-to-day funding.
Rockathon's 67-hour broadcast will come to an end Friday at noon. Reporting from outside WPPJ studios, I'm Nick Tomarello for Point News.
And another streaming service is now live in the U.S. Disney Plus has hit the U.S. this week. You can watch the Disney classics, Star Wars, Marvel, Pixar, National Geographic, and even the 20th Century Fox content. And it also plans to include all future Disney movies, such as Frozen 2, after their release in theaters. The set for price will be set at $6.99 a month. And the official public impeachment hearing of President Trump kicked off yesterday. We'll get you up to date after this.
What's one word to describe CAB?
Welcoming.
Community.
Creative.
Experiences.
Family. Openness.
Pineapple.
The Campus Activities Board is a student-run organization that consists of 7 different committees. Each focuses on event planning, marketing, and administrative activities. Join us in organizing the juiciest events on campus, from late-night bingo to festive dances to our team bonding meetings. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Point Park Cap, or like us on Facebook at Campus Activities Board at Point Park University.
Good evening and welcome to Newsnight. I'm Josh Troop alongside Jess Paterchak.
Defending his decision to kick out 15 Cuban diplomats from the United States.
Thanks, Allison. Fitness on Demand has returned to Point Park.
Residents fear that Mount Agung will have a repeat of 1963's eruption.
Two-star NFL quarterbacks made the headlines this week after wrapping up.
Thank you so much for joining us this evening. That's your news tonight. For Nick Tomarello, I'm Alex Grubbs. Have a great night.
And now for the latest in Trump's impeachment inquiry as it hit the public arena yesterday. Two public witnesses hit the stand. Acting U.S. Ambassador to the Ukraine, William Taylor, confirmed with his staff about the call, and it's still unclear whether his aides will testify. Also, Georgia Kent, Deputy Assistant Secretary in the European Bureau for the U.S. Department of State, focused and also hit the stand. Democrats focused issues on Trump's behavior, but while Republicans zeroed in on Ukraine's past history of corruption. As the impeachment inquiries we move forward, we'll have the latest for you at Point News. And jury selection is picking back up again today in Detroit for the trial of Allegheny County Controller Chelsea Wagner. Wagner is accused of getting into an altercation with police who had taken her husband up to her hotel room after he was accused of being unruly in the hotel lobby. Wagner's husband has been acquitted of the charges he faced. Wagner herself faces a felony charge of resisting and obstructing and a misdemeanor of disorderly conduct. She was offered a plea deal, which she rejected. She also was reelected to her position as county controller earlier this month. And our Pioneer volleyball team clinched the East Division title. We'll tell you what that means for the Pioneers after the break.
The United Student Government at Point Park University, working since the 1970s to solve the issues that matter to you. What concerns do you have about the university? Student life, safety, food service? Send us an email to studentconcerns@pointpark.edu or stop by our office on the 7th floor of the Student Center. You can also attend our weekly open meetings on Mondays at 3:15. Follow us on social media at USG_PPU for more. The United Student Government, by the students, for the students.
The Point Park Sports Network, bringing you live coverage of Pioneer Athletics on Stretch Internet, the home of the River States Conference and the NAIA. Subscribe today for complete access to the Point Park volleyball, baseball, basketball, and soccer teams. Watch live and on-demand broadcasts and don't miss a minute of Point Park Athletics. Head to pointparksports.com/live for broadcast listings. The Point Park Sports Network, your streaming home for Point Park Athletics.
Like 3, 2, 1.
Please visit our website. Please, it's a nice website. Please visit our website. Please.
If you have ever watched television, whether accidentally or on purpose, YouView is for you.
And the Point Park volleyball team clinched the RSC East Division title this past weekend, making them the host for the national tournament upcoming. The Student Center gym will be filled with sets, kills, digs all day on Friday, with our Pioneers kicking it off against Asbury at 11:30 and matches all the way until 6:30. The winners of those matches will be back on the court for the semifinal on Saturday at 10, 12:30 and the finals at 6 p.m. Students are free to enter and watch both days of the tournament here on campus. And the Point Park women's soccer team has advanced to the River States Conference semifinals. This is after the Pioneers defeated West Virginia Tech in the quarterfinals just last week. Now the women will head to Asbury University tonight for the chance at a championship. The game was originally scheduled for yesterday evening, but was postponed due to weather-related concerns. And the cheer and dance team is hosting their fall showcase this weekend. This Sunday at 5 p.m. in the Student Center. Each team will be debuting their competition routines, which they compete with in the winter season, as well as their game day routines. Sunday will also recognize the team's 5 seniors. The Pioneers scrimmage the Cardinals on December 7th at Concordia University. And the Pittsburgh Penguins are now 10-6 and 2 on the season after an overtime loss to the New York Rangers on Tuesday. Defenseman Justin Schultz and winger Jared McCann scored for the Pens in the second period, but they were not able to get a third to give them a win. The Rangers' Capo Calco pulled out his first multi-point game and solidified their 3-2 win. The Pens pick up the next game tomorrow in New Jersey for an evening game against the Devils. And the Steelers won in great fashion during their Week 10 matchups against the Los Angeles Rams. Things were tied up with a touchdown apiece after their first quarter and remained that tied up until the final field goal by the Black and Gold in the final minutes to take home the win 17-12. That's all we have time for, Pioneers. We'll see you back here next week.